Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
We will bring the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican, please, verbal slushing.
That's literally not true.
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Is that correct?
Oh, for Trump's sake.
Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Welcome back, welcome back. Hope you had a fabulous lunch. We're going to get right to it, jump right back into the case as the court is back. We need to, first of all, before we do that, welcome maybe Megan, maybe not, who was first in chat today. I think you're a first-time offender. Maybe Megan, maybe not. Maybe you're not a first-time offender. Congratulations. Everything IP-related worldwide is your responsibility because you were prompt and punctual. You were first in chat, and so we're punishing you with the internet ownership. Good riddance, I say. Good riddance. All right, everybody ready?
Remember in the beginning when we started 110 years ago?
110 years ago. The counter's only up to 81. 81 coughs. I'm expecting to go higher. I think we're going to be well over 100 just today. So, yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's turn the music down here as it dies off, and let's jump back to court. And let's see, we're on 7. All right, here we go. Perfect timing. I hear that fan. Somebody's like, that's a computer fan or something running right next to the microphone. White noise. White noise is terrible. This judge is out of his mind to sit and explain everything to every juror. Yes, he's just a little bit of Schroeder, a little old school. Waiting for the audio here to come in. Let's turn it down a bit while we wait. It's a noisy feed. We'll do what we can to clean it up as much as we can, but give him a moment here. Old school for sure. Yes, most definitely. Looks like we're getting somebody in. Just need someone to swear you in. There we go.
Thank you for pointing that out.
We have a mic in use now. This is new and different. Yay!
Yeah, Billy, we're good to go. Bring him in.
That was the radio traffic saying we're good to bring the jury in, so now we're just waiting for the jury to show up. Are we cleaning the mic? No, we're just flipping it really hard while it's turned on, just to see if it's working, because we don't know anything about mics. Please don't abuse your mics, people. He took the bar in a one-room schoolhouse. His dad was the one that administered the test.
All right, for the judge.
I said all rise for the jurors this time.
Be seated.
There's a defendant with her attorney.
Ms. Carbone, when we took the lunch break, you were telling us that you would have the opportunity to go and visit Leroy at one of the hospitals. Remember that?
Yes.
In which hospital was it that you went to?
It was Beth Israel.
Okay. And was that on the 12th, so that Saturday, or was that on the Sunday?
That was on the Sunday.
Okay. And when you saw Leroy on that Sunday, was he awake at all?
No.
He what could you tell about, just by looking at him at that point in time?
They still had him on the machine, and that's when they were going to take him off the machine.
Okay, so what you said, he was on a ventilator?
He was on a ventilator, yeah.
Okay. And that day, you and the rest of the family had to make a decision to take him off the ventilator?
Yes.
Right? And he died on the 13th that evening, around about 7:30 that evening, right? Or not, excuse me, 9:30.
Yes, it was around 9:30, I believe. It was about closer to 9:30, yes.
And, while you were with him at the hospital, he never woke up at all?
No.
That's all I have, Jess. Thanks. Mr. Scully, thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Liam Scully. I represent Judy Church. You and I have never spoken before, is that right?
Right.
Okay. I just have a few follow-up questions. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you are Leroy Fowler's sister.
Yes.
And where was your family originally from?
I was originally from Newburyport, Mass.
Okay. And did you grow up in the Essex County area?
Yes.
Okay. And grew up with Leroy as a brother in the house for the most part?
Yes.
Okay. Knew him very well, obviously, it sounds like.
Yes.
And had a good relationship with him?
Yes.
When he, do you know the name Julie Hawkins?
Yes.
Who is Julie Hawkins?
That was one of his girlfriends.
Okay. And was that a relationship that he was in before he was in a relationship with Judy Church?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how long he was in that relationship?
Oh, probably 14, 15 years.
Okay. And did they have a son together, Michael Hawkins?
No, that was his stepson.
Stepson. So Julie Hawkins had a son, Michael Hawkins?
Yes.
Leroy, through his relationship with Julie, Michael felt he was his stepson? Or
Yes.
Considered himself stepson?
Yes.
Was that like a legal situation or just a familiar way?
No, it was just like, it was her son.
Okay. And was there a time when Leroy Fowler and Julie Hawkins lived together?
Yes, they lived together for many years.
For many years?
Yes.
And during that time, were they raising Michael Fowler? Was he growing up?
There's no Michael Fowler.
sorry,
His name is Michael Hawkins.
Michael Hawkins, were they
Yes.
raising Michael Hawkins? And also there's Leroy's son, Leroy Fowler, right?
Yes.
Were they also raising him at the same time?
Yes.
Were there any other children in that household at that time?
No.
Okay, so you've got Leroy Fowler and Julie Hawkins and Michael Hawkins and Leroy become Jr.?
Yes.
Okay, those are the four people
Yes.
living in that household for many years.
Well, Michael Hawkins wasn't there for many years. He was grown.
Okay, but some of the time he was there.
Yes.
All right. And that sort of functioned as a family unit before Leroy had any involvement with Judy Church. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point, is it fair to say that Leroy and Julie Hawkins separated?
Yes.
At the time that they separated, was she sick?
Yes.
Okay, did she have cancer?
Yes.
And did she survive that battle with cancer, or is she deceased as a result?
No, she's deceased.
Okay. So Leroy and Julie broke up at some point before Judy Church comes onto the scene, right?
No, she did not. Judy Church got with Leroy when Julie was still alive.
She was still alive, correct?
Yes.
But do you remember a time when Leroy had moved into a house that was then owned and lived in by Judy Church and by her husband, Rusty?
Yes.
Okay. And at that time that he moved into that house, Julie wasn't with him in that house.
No.
Right, meaning correct.
Yes.
Okay. So by that time, you recall that there was a period where Leroy was living with Judy, who was still married to her husband, Rusty, within the same house, different units. That's not right?
No.
Okay, how's that not right?
Because Judy Church moved my brother into her house with her husband.
Okay. And they lived together, right?
Yes.
And that, is it fair to say that they lived together in that dynamic for plus or minus a year or so? What would be your memory of that time?
No, it wasn't a year.
How long do you think?
Just can we see, please?
Yes, we can. Yes, you may. I'll see you Sidebar.
Gets loud here. Let's turn the waterfall music way down. Defense has to be seen at Sidebar. Didn't hear the nature of the objection, but if you guys have been building your family tree at home and wonder why there are so many branches connected to this trunk, it was a different relationship. It was a different relationship, and there was definitely some overlap, but not willingly. Meaning the two girlfriends did not, although they knew about each other at one point. Going forward, they did not like each other or like the fact that the other one existed in that status. So, yeah, that was another cough in the court. Did you hear that? There's another one. There's two more. We're counting them. Whoops, that was three. I'm adopted and my birth family tree is crazy. Those are the best. I found out my family tree was different than what I knew it as. I'm talking about grandparents level. As an adult, probably just within the last 10 years, and maybe a little more. Yeah, about 10 years ago, we found out Grandpa was actually not my grandpa. There was some other guy. Which is fun. It's always exciting to find out your family tree is more unique than traditional. So it was cool to find out. And now I have relatives in New Zealand I didn't know about, which is awesome. Let's see. I think that the story goes that my grandmother, who was Norwegian, living in Norway, married my grandpa, and that day my grandpa joined the Merchant Marines for like 2 years, and he came back and found that my grandma had like a 3-month-old daughter who was my mom. and so yeah, it's great. It's awesome. I'm actually pretty excited about it because it gives us some little variety and some fun work to finding out who we're related to. And all this time I thought it was Norwegian, and I was like a Norwegian sailor bloodline. It turns out I'm a Welsh hairdresser bloodline, which is a little different, but it is what it is. It's if you want to, I'm a big fan of digging up your ancestry and finding out who you're related to. Going way back and see. I know I've got some criminals in my line, but honestly, now that I think about it, I think they were on my my Norwegian sailor grandpa's line, not necessarily my Welsh hairdresser line. So maybe not blood relative, although I thought they were, but I've got a story about that. So, Cacophony. Okay. I struggle with the name. Recovery Addict, thank you for streaming Massachusetts cases. This case has not been mentioned here. It's sort of flown under the radar, but it was big at the time. Oh, here we go. We're back. Let's get the audio back. It was in the news at the time, and then it sort of just fizzled out.
Okay, so
possibly.
I'll try to pick up where I left off there. Judy Church and Leroy Fowler then left that home where Judy lived with Rusty, and moved out and eventually moved into 108 Central Ave in Salisbury, right?
Yes.
And you've been to that residence.
Yes.
And you know that there's a two-story part of the main house, right?
Yes.
And Judy and Leroy lived at first on the first story while they renovated the second story. Is that right?
Yes.
And then when they were done with that, they moved to the second story and started renovations on the first story eventually, right?
Yes.
And there was also a cottage unit in the back where renovations were done and tenants lived, right?
Yes.
Now, those renovations, they went on for quite a while in all those various phases, right?
Yes.
It's a big project that Judy and Leroy did together.
Yep.
And during that time, Judy and Leroy appeared to have a good relationship, right?
No, not, yes.
Okay.
That needs
They bought a
explanation.
dog together named Salt, right?
Yes.
They moved into these houses together, right?
Yes.
And this is the era where you became friendly with Judy Church, right?
Yes.
And she became a friend of yours,
Yes.
not just the girlfriend of your brother, but someone you had an independent relationship with.
Yes.
And you did things together like yard sailing.
Yes.
And sometimes you did that with Leroy, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you did that with Judy.
Yes.
And sometimes you all did it together.
Yes.
It was one of everyone's kind of favorite activities.
Yes.
Derivative from your side of the family, and Judy
Yes.
joined in, right?
Yep.
And those were good experiences you had with Judy during that time, right?
Yes.
Now, during that time, to your knowledge, or did you know a woman named Barbara Randall?
Yes.
Okay. You know that eventually Leroy started dating Barbara Randall as well, right?
Yes.
And when he started dating Barbara Randall, was that several years after he had initially started dating Judy and living with Judy?
Yes.
Okay. Does it sound right to you that there was about 3 years of Judy and Leroy as a couple before you found out that this Barbara Randall was also on the scene?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when that happened, to your, did you develop an independent relationship also with Barbara?
Yes.
And did you become friends with her?
Yes.
And so you knew where she lived, right?
Yes.
She was a hairdresser, right?
Runs in the industry, apparently.
Yes.
And she was a little younger than Judy, about 5 years younger than Judy, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And now for a period of time, really up until Leroy passed, to your knowledge, he had 2 girlfriends, right?
Yes.
Okay. Judy, who he lived with,
Yes.
right? And Barbara, who he spent time with.
Yes.
Okay. And you're aware that this caused certain friction and resentment between the women.
Yes.
They didn't like each other.
Yes.
Are you aware of nicknames they had for each other?
Yes.
You know what Barbara referred to Judy as?
Watch out.
Yes.
What?
Grandma.
Okay. And Judy had a derogatory named for Barbara, to your knowledge, right? The
Yes.
C word.
Yes.
And this became how they referred to each other when they referred about each other, or to each other when they were speaking to you.
Yes.
And Judy and Barbara did not spend time together.
No.
Okay. Now, Leroy worked his life in construction, is that right?
Yes.
And was he a high school graduate?
No.
No. Where did he go to high school?
He went to Newburyport.
Newburyport High School.
And then, I'm sorry, Whittier.
Whittier, okay, and didn't finish.
Yes, he did, sorry.
And then he went into the construction trades
Yes.
and did a lot of work as a roofer,
Yes.
and for many years.
Yes.
One of his hobbies was riding motorcycles, right?
Yes.
Okay, and Rusty Church, did you come to know Rusty Church?
I've only met him a few times.
Met him a few times.
Yes.
Are you aware that he was also a motorcycle rider?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, Judy would ride on the back of Leroy's motorcycle, right?
Yes.
Did you see her do that?
Yes.
Many times.
Yes.
And they would go, around socially. She'd get on the back of the motorcycle, go up Salisbury Beach and journeys like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And would Barbara also, did you see Barbara at other times riding on the back of Leroy's motorcycle?
Yes.
Okay. They wouldn't be on the same day though, that'd be different days, right?
Yes.
Barbara on the front, Judy on the back.
Now, 108 Central Ave was a house that Judy purchased with her financial means, to your knowledge, is that right?
Objection, Judge. Sustained.
Do you know whether Leroy ever owned a home?
That objection was leading.
Is it relevance or hearsay? Overruled. You may answer the question whether you know whether your brother ever owned a home.
No.
He did not.
No.
Okay. So 108 Central Ave, to your knowledge, was Judy's home. Leroy lived there.
Yes.
Now, the dynamic between Barbara and Judy as the simultaneous girlfriends of Leroy went on for 3 or 4 years. Is that about right?
Yes.
Okay. And it was an open, not a secret, it was an open thing, right? Yeah. And then in 2022, did you become aware that Judy and Leroy had plans to go to Florida?
Yes.
Do you know if a house was purchased?
Yes.
Do you know what town it was in?
It was in Hernando, Florida.
Okay, Hernando, Florida.
Yep.
And you recall that being sort of a trailer-style house?
Yes.
And Judy had the cash to buy the house, right?
I don't know if it was hers and his.
Okay.
But I know they bought it down there when they went down.
Financially at that time, by the time we got to 2022, is it fair to say that Leroy's ability to earn a living got declined?
Yeah.
He had a pacemaker.
Yep.
He was on Social Security disability for income.
Yep.
He was using some food stamps to subsidize food costs, right?
Yep.
And he was working sort of more part-time side jobs at that time.
Yep.
He had a hobby of fixing up bicycles, right?
Yep.
And so he would collect bicycles that were discarded or maybe available for very cheap money, fix them up, and then resell them. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And he would do that based out of Judy's house, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So his financials, and he worked some part-time, some odd jobs, like so if there was a project that could be done in a few days, he would still do that project, right?
Yep.
But he was having physical problems that were limiting his ability to, or had curtailed his ability to make a living in full-time construction, right?
Yep.
Back problems,
Yep.
hip problems.
Yep.
Okay. Now, back to the Florida house for a second. So, does it sound right that in December of 2021, Judy and Leroy drove to Florida for a period of time?
Yes.
About 3 or 4 months. Is that how long they were gone? How long do you think they were gone?
About a month, maybe.
Okay. And that was the trip where they purchased the house?
Yes.
And Leroy came home from Florida with a new truck. You remember that?
Yes.
Big black Dodge Ram truck, right?
Yes, a used truck.
A used truck.
Yes.
And that was the truck that he would have been driving from the end of that Florida trip after they bought the house until November when he passed away, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he also had a couple of different motorcycles over time, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you become aware that Judy and Leroy were planning to return to Florida?
Yes.
And that they were going to live down there?
Yes.
And actually, in November 5th, around November 5th of 2022, they were in the packing stages of that plan.
Yes.
A trailer had been filled up with stuff to bring to Florida, right?
Yes.
And they were also maybe in the process of getting a second trailer to assist. Is that right? If you know.
No, I don't know.
Okay, you're not sure about that.
Not sure.
But you know they were packing, and there was a trailer
Yes,
that
they
was
were
packed.
packing.
And his birthday was November 11th, right?
Yes.
And they were about to go to Florida really any day there, right?
Objection, Judge.
Oh, what's your objection, Mr. Freeman?
She doesn't know what their plans were.
Well, she's been testifying all about them, but if that's the objection is sustained.
Right. So, on November 11th was his birthday, right?
Yes.
And it was the day after that that you learned that he had gotten sick. Is that right? Was it the 12th?
No. She called me the day of his birthday, the 11th.
Okay.
She called me and told me she was sitting at the hospital all day, the 11th,
Okay.
the day of his birthday.
Okay. So she made that phone call to you on the 11th,
Yes.
that she had been at Anna Jake's hospital all day,
Yes.
and it seems to have upset you that that phone call wasn't made earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
She
And
sat there for 11 hours and didn't call a family member. And I always was called. She sat there for 11 hours.
okay. And now at that time, you were also going through some difficult personal circumstances with your husband. Is that right?
Yes. And I was at the hospital. I was sitting one building over.
From Anna Jake's?
Yes, I was sitting at the cancer building. She sat at a hospital for 11 hours and didn't call a family member.
Okay. And she was the healthcare proxy, right?
She shouldn't have been because I was prior to that, so I don't know how she became.
Okay, but at that time, to your knowledge,
She says she was.
Okay.
I never saw any papers proving that she was.
Okay, fair enough. When she was there, you expected a call from her right away, right?
Yes, because I was always the one that was called.
Okay. Understood. But you actually were dealing with your husband's medical situation, which was very serious at the time.
Yes.
All that day, right?
She didn't know I was dealing with my husband's all that day.
Well, she knew your husband was sick.
Yes, she did.
Okay. And she was the one who was sitting in the hallway with Leroy, right?
Yes.
And by his bed, right?
Yeah, but she should have made a phone call after sitting there for 11 hours with someone that supposedly had to be on life support.
Ms. Carbone, I have to stop you. I just want you to listen to the question and answer the question.
Okay, sorry.
No need to apologize. So being a witness is a challenging thing, but I do need you to listen to the question and simply answer the question. Again, no need to apologize. Go ahead, Mr. Scully.
Thank you, Your Honor. And is it fair to say that as what the information that was passed to you and that you learned sort of evolved?
Objection.
I missed the question. There's objections. Would you just repeat what you said, Mr. Scully, and I'll rule on the objection.
Is it fair to say that the information that you were learning about Leroy over the next few days sort of evolved?
Yes.
I'll allow that to stand.
Okay. And but the first information that you received about Leroy was in fact a phone call from Judy.
Yes.
She told you you were at Anna Jake's.
Yes.
Was it a phone call or a text?
It was a phone call.
Okay. And she told you, is it fair
Objection,
to...
Judge. Sustained.
She gave you an update, right?
Objection, Judge.
Did she give an update on medical condition? Is that the question?
Yes.
I'll allow that. You may say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. And so now, and you're upset that it's been a delay, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what action do you take to now kind of get involved in Leroy's medical care?
What action do I take?
Okay. So you find out that Leroy's been in the hospital all day for 8 hours, right?
Yes, they took him from there to Mount Auburn.
To Mount Auburn, right?
Yes.
And did Judy go to Mount Auburn, to your knowledge?
No, she said she had to go home and clean up the mess.
Okay. And did you go to Mount Auburn?
No, I made a phone call to see what was going on because they were transporting him.
Okay. And at some point, did you come across information that suggested that Leroy may have ingested antifreeze?
Yes, when I called the hospital once they got there.
Okay. Was that hospital Mount Auburn, or was that hospital?
That was Mount Auburn.
Mount Auburn, okay. And now, with that information, that was very alarming to you, right?
Yes.
And you started to wonder, how could this possibly happen, right?
Yes.
You knew Leroy had issues with some substances, right?
Yes.
Cocaine,
Yes.
Percocets.
Yes.
Okay. And that sometimes those affected his health.
Yes, I don't
Okay.
know about that affecting his health. I don't know.
There was nothing that you could think of as to why antifreeze, right?
Right.
And there was this text message exchange and a phone call that you testified to it on direct exam, right?
Excuse me? Sorry.
There was a phone call with Judy and a text message that was introduced during direct exam. Do you remember that? I'm going to get the text.
About antifreeze?
Yeah, well, let me get the text.
There was a phone call? Like the 911 call? We're at 94.
Okay.
Thanks. Got it.
Now, this text message, this is Exhibit 4. I'd like to put it on the screen. I don't know if this is going to be as legible as I would like.
Not sideways, I don't think.
I don't know.
It must be right side up.
Okay.
Unless you want us to lean over to read. Let's see what it says. It says defense during the questioning here.
There are.
Looks like a Celebrite report.
Outline.
Focus. Visitings from 1 to 8, one person at a time. Just to let you know, I'll leave to be there at 1.
This text message here.
Leave before I'm driving in the dark.
From Judy to you. Is that right?
Yes.
In green.
Yes.
Visiting is 1 to 8, one person at a time, just to let you know, exclamation point, right?
Yes.
I'll leave to be there at 1 and leave before I'm driving in the dark. And then there's a couple of little emoji symbols. Is that right?
You got to go up a little bit.
I got what?
I think you have to go up.
I mean, these symbols right there.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Okay. And then you texted her back in blue.
Okay, thanks. He'll be awake tomorrow.
Hope he'll be awake tomorrow. And a couple more little emoji symbols, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And then she sent you a text message. That says, me too, exclamation point. Think I'll bring him a coffee frap, exclamation point. LOL, meaning laugh out loud, right?
Yep.
And you understood that to be a joke.
Yep.
And you and her engaged in a number more text messages, right?
Yep.
And you recall that your response to that.
Objection.
I'll see counsel at sidebar.
Here we go. Sound down. There's a cough. Sorry, we got something popping up on the screen here. Apparently, there's a software update that I have to schedule. Up to 96. Turn that down a little further. 96 on the cough counter. We're definitely going to hit 100 today, as long as we continue with, for another minute or two. Objections are bizarre. I'm feeling that some of the rulings are a little off. Are you guys getting that? Some of the rulings where they're calling for hearsay, a comment by the defendant, and the judge is sustaining it. I'm like, whoa. That's just me. Maybe I'm hearing wrong. How did I miss 96 coughs in 24 hours? Well, it was only about 6 hours. So I don't know, Nexus Lexus. It's not shocking given the state. Were those texts 11 hours after he was taken to a hospital? I believe so. I think she's a great witness. She's doing a great job. She wants to say her piece, and her piece just might rip Judy a new one. But she's doing a great job. Yeah, not even the white noise can cover up the coughs. I think Halls is missing out on opportunity. They should sponsor all courtrooms across the country. Let's see. It's because the defense can't bring in the defense. Oh, it is on cross. That's why. Okay, sorry. Gabby, in my head, I was thinking we were still on direct, even though I said we were on cross. But yeah, that would be a self-serving statement if they're bringing it in themselves. If she wants her statements to come in, she has to take the stand with defense.
I'm going to sustain my own objection.
Yeah. There are so many trials going on right now. There are so many. There are a ton. Yeah, there's a couple crazy trials going on right now. Halls is a sponsor. She's great standing her ground. She's doing fabulous. Are we going to hear from the girlfriend? I don't know if Barbara is still around. Is Barbara still around? Yard sailing, though. Oh, my goodness. Best hobby ever. The only thing better than that is going thrift shopping. Popping tags, if you know that reference. That's just an amazing. Where else can you get rich for 50 cents to $1? Strike it rich. Buy some antique, something that was probably illegally smuggled into the country for 50 cents. Only at yard sales and thrift shops. I once paid 50 cents for a Montana Silversmith's tooled leather belt with a big old silver buckle. And by silver, I mean 925 silver. Amazing. Paid 50 cents for it. And then a guy conned me out of it. I knew the dude, and he's like, oh, I sell on eBay all the time. I sell stuff like that all the time. I'll make you a deal. I'll sell it for you, and we'll split here and here. Yeah, apparently it still hasn't sold, but I'm out 50 cents. Ahoy, yard sailing, we sail at dawn. Oh, man. Looking for a come up. This is awesome. Behind Rudy's Fairing. This is awesome. Kelly Devers. I get her name wrong. She's going to come and haunt me through the mirror. Resigned. Interesting. It would be nice to have now. Yeah. Silvers. Jumped in price. Had a broken keyboard. Bought a broken keyboard. Yes. Good references to a song there. One of my favorite songs of life. I'm gonna pop some tags. Oh, that's too low. I'm gonna pop some tags. There it goes. I have to pitch it right. Yeah, that's why I talk and don't sing for a living. The resignation form for Devers was clearer than original Aunt Bev's jury form. Did he not taste something funny in his drinks? He might not have. Especially if she's been putting it in his drinks for a long time. And arguably, we heard at opening that we're going to hear that he just didn't feel good when he was at her place and would feel better when he was away. So he might have been well seasoned with antifreeze. Which, by the way, antifreeze is great for cars. It keeps liquids not freezing. It doesn't help keep you warm in the winter. Please don't try it. It's not good. It's a painful way to die. Gatorade is very sweet. Easy to hide something sweet. It did have the bittering agent, though, Winter Libby. We heard, 17 states in the United States require a bittering agent to be added to antifreeze to prevent people from accidentally ingesting it because, unfortunately, it tastes good. It had that, and he still drank it. Oh, man, 6 sets of Klipsch speakers. My husband has a hobby restoring them. That's awesome. I found a pair, also thrift shopping. I found a pair of JBL bookshelf speakers with titanium tweeters. The tweeter alone in it sells for like $90. And I bought the pair for $10. It was a good deal. I sold them because that's how I was surviving back then. AWOL says, even though the Afroman trial was definitely not YouTube friendly at all for content, lyrics, visuals, and copyright, but I can't remember a funnier trial. Mark my words, Saturday Night Live will do a skit on Saturday. Yeah, I went to the first Mark Jensen trial that was in my hometown. Holy cow. Coming full circle. We popped in on the second one for as much as we dared. Thanks, Greeners. I'll keep an eye out for it. Yes, they added a bittering agent. If he drank the Poisonade with alcohol in it, I could see how he may not have noticed much. Hey, well, I have a hard time remembering what I had for breakfast, so you'll need to do a little more to refresh my recollection. But I think it was actually like a winter windshield wiper fluid, so a cleaning fluid that had windshield wiper fluid that had antifreeze in it. Love the suit Afromander's wearing. Have we heard if it was antifreeze or ethylene glycol straight up? I think the ethylene glycol, isn't that the, oh, we're back. Isn't that the metabolite? Is that what the body makes when it's trained to break down the antifreeze?
So back to Exhibit 4 for a second. The last text that was introduced as part of that exhibit was from Judy to you, and it ends with the LOL, symbolizing laugh out loud, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then, but there were more text messages that day, correct?
Yep.
And your response to that text message was, right, LOL. He better wonder about
Actually, no, not the second part. The first part may stand. Do you recall that your response was right, LOL? And if you
Yes.
don't, okay. The answer is yes.
And with respect to the second part of that text message.
Objection.
That's the part I'm not permitting you to ask about.
Okay, no, my objection, Judge.
I do.
And I would like to move this, subject to redaction, in as the next exhibit.
Camera was
Well,
stuck on
you
screen.
mean that one particular right, LOL? If there's, I will admit that if there's a way to put that in that's just that. I don't know that. All right. So,
Okay. So the situation with Leroy at that time wasn't good, right?
Right.
And you were you at that time angry with Judy for not communicating with you earlier?
At that point on the phone or the
Right.
text message?
Well, earlier in my cross-examination, you expressed how angry you were at her for spending 8 hours at the hospital without telling you
Yes.
all day at the hospital, right?
Yes.
But now, in this exchange of text messages, you two are exchanging LOLs to each other, laugh out louds, right?
Yeah. But I was angry that she didn't call me.
Okay. But at least in those text messages, you weren't expressing any anger towards Judy Church at that time.
Right.
And you continued to have text messages with her where she would update you about Leroy throughout that day, the 12th, right?
Same objection.
I'm going to allow that question. If you recall, you may answer.
That night.
Yes, meaning the 12th, that night.
Yes.
And you remember Judy texting you that an update from the Mount Auburn Hospital,
Yes.
telling you that Leroy had a kidney that was not functioning, and there was a buildup of bad blood, and they were doing dialysis.
Yes.
And that in her text message, she told you, I gave them permission to do that.
Yes.
Judge, same one.
I understand, overruled. I will allow that question and answer to stand. You understood from her text that she said she gave permission for dialysis, correct, Ms. Carbone?
Yes.
Okay. And this was alarming to you.
Yes.
And you remember your response was, oh my God, is he going to be okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to introduce that series of text messages specified to us next.
We don't need that in evidence.
Can I get a mark of that?
You may.
Whoa.
They've heard this exchange. I allowed the questions. I didn't allow the content of the text in.
D. Friday.
The judge, he says, I'd like to admit this into evidence. The judge says, we don't need that in evidence?
Now,
I guess because we've allowed the
you're
exchange in.
now much more worried with that information that he is having kidney problems and needs dialysis, right?
Yes.
And at that point, still, Judy is your primary source of information, right?
Yes.
And you're not directing, as you're texting back and forth, any anger towards her, right?
No.
Okay. You're asking for information and she's giving you information, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And little Leroy also gets involved in some communications at that time, right?
Objection, Judge.
What's the objection?
I don't know who he's getting, I'm sure he's having conversations with lots of people, but who's he having conversations with?
All right, so you don't understand the question. Could you place the question again?
Yes. You know an individual referred to as little Leroy?
Yes,
Is that Leroy Fowler, your brother's son?
yes,
And did yourself and Judy and little Leroy set up a three-way group text
yes,
and also shared information back and forth about how Leroy was doing, right?
yes,
Okay. And is it fair to say that throughout these various text messages, Judy was expressing her own worry and concern?
Objection.
Sustained.
Can we go to sidebar, Judge?
No. Please continue.
Could I ask that these text messages be marked for identification?
You may. But we're not going to try this case at sidebar.
Sure.
Judge is tired of the sidebars already. Wow, it's getting spicy. We have a hot bench. Very hot bench. The judge is mad that the lawyer is taking all his teach the jury the law time.
So at some point, while all this information is being exchanged, this group text message is being exchanged between you and little Leroy and Judy, you become Leroy's, or start acting as his healthcare proxy. Is that right?
yes,
Okay. And you learn information that he has potentially ingested antifreeze, right?
yes,
And at some point, start to suspect Judy and become angry at Judy, right?
yes,
And the police actually come to visit you and others in your family to take recorded statements, right?
I meet with the police.
Where did that meeting take place?
That meeting took place at William Eaton's house.
William Eaton's house. Who's William Eaton?
He is Leroy the Third's uncle,
Okay,
which is Leroy's son.
okay. And so William Eaton, to your knowledge,
That's a lot of
was he
Leroys.
someone who was potentially going to sell a trailer to Leroy?
Objection.
Sustained.
Um,
No,
Don't-
that means you don't have to answer.
oh, okay, sorry.
Do you know whether William Eaton owned a trailer?
I don't know.
Okay. And so on or about November 12th, is it fair to say that at William Eaton's house, yourself and Leroy Fowler Jr., little Leroy, and Michael Hawkins all go and are interviewed by police, right?
Michael Hawkins, no.
You don't remember Michael? Okay.
Me and Leroy met at Billy Eaton's house
Okay.
to be interviewed.
And two police officers they set up like a little room, or a little room was designated, right?
Yes,
In the house.
yes.
Is it like a kid's room?
No, we were in a dining room.
A dining room, okay.
Yes,
And people were brought in one at a time to be questioned by these two police officers, right?
yes,
And it was you, right?
yes,
And little Leroy, right?
yes,
And William Eaton, right?
yes.
And you don't think Michael Fowler was there?
Michael Hawkins?
Michael Hawkins was there.
He was not there when I was
Okay.
there, no.
Okay. And that took place for about an hour on that day, right?
Yeah,
And by that time, is it fair to say that you were very upset with Judy?
Yes.
Angry?
Yes.
Resented her?
Yes.
And also had become highly suspicious, right?
Yes.
And started to form a belief that somehow she was the one who poisoned Leroy with antifreeze.
Yes.
And at that time, did you have any belief as to how the antifreeze was slipped to Leroy?
Well, no, sorry.
Excuse me, did I have,
You had some belief at that time that Judy had poisoned Leroy with antifreeze, right?
yes.
And that he didn't know this, she did it to him, right?
I thought she did, maybe.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Okay. And now, did you have in your mind, as you're talking to police and as you have this thought, how that physically happened? Did you think it was milkshakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought, because she even made a comment to me about it.
Okay.
But I really was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know.
Right. And that comment was part of a series of LOL jokes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now the antifreeze in the milkshake. I'm just asking what you thought at the time. Did you think that she poured antifreeze into a milkshake? Was it a coffee shake or a milkshake?
Judge, objection.
I don't.
Just a moment.
Well.
Just a moment. I'm going to have to see counsel at Sidebar. As much as I am reluctant to, I have to see counsel.
He hates the Sidebar. Turn down the sound. Well, we go back to Sidebar. I don't know what happened at Sidebar earlier, but the judge initially, when he told the jury about it, was saying, "Jury, during the trial, there are times that the lawyers want to bring something up that, where they're not sure if they can, or there's an objection. We need to discuss it outside of your presence just to make sure you don't hear something you're not supposed to. We'll go over here, over the edge of my bench, and we'll talk at Sidebar." So that's going to happen a lot. 2 of them happen, and he's like, "We're not doing that again." So now he's like anti-Sidebar a ton, and he even chided the defense in front of the jury. Said, "We're not trying this at Sidebar." So I think he doesn't like going head to head at the Sidebar with the attorneys. Is this a cold case? This is a 2022 case. For most of the murder trials that are going on right now, they happened around in 2022. Most of them. That's just the pace of murder trials. Unless you had something where you've got like a speedy trial issue where it's not waived, and it's 2022 or older. It's rare to get something to trial, especially with the jury and everything else, inside 3 years. It's just really rare. So yeah, it's a sort of current case. It's going off the rails a little bit. We're only on witness number 5 today. Just started this morning, so easy catch up if you're new to this one. But the judge is a bit of a character. He talks quickly, but he also rambles. So he rambles quickly, often to the jury, who is a captive audience and can't protest. And he likes to explain the law. And in spite of him explaining the law to the jury, I have some questions about some of his decisions. But maybe I'll pay more attention and see if he actually was right and I was wrong. So we'll do that. We're at 105. Thank you very much. We're counting the coughs in this court because there are a ton of them. Are we done? No. Still going on. Ramble on, Judge, in a Robert Plant voice. Ramble on. How long is this trial? They estimate 2.5 weeks. I think it'll be done quicker than that because we're flying through witnesses, honestly. We're hauling. And the judge is denying sidebars. So, as a germaphobe, the cough counter makes my skin crawl. Well, better on this screen than in your house, right? It's the best way to have it. If case will be tried at Sidebar, we'd be spared the coughs. Was that another cough? Counting it. Sounded like it. Might have been a sneeze, but, you know, it's a sneeze is part cough as well. Have you ever tried to cough with your mouth shut? Or sneeze with your mouth shut? It's easier than sneezing with your eyes open, so try that. I don't think you can do that. I think you have to close your eyes when you sneeze. That's like the law. On day 2, the bailiff will be passing out masks and cough drops. Sneezing is a cousin to the cough. It wasn't the cough that carried her off. It was the coffin they carried her off in. Oh, man, 3 back to back. Bam, bam, bam. Rapid fire. I've popped my ear holding the sneeze. Oh, man. Sneeze must be released. If you think this judge is doing too much. Okay, Afro Man, we can't go there for like a million reasons. Coughs are continuing. A couple sniffles. Sneezed once with my eyes open, my contacts flew out. If you here, JMR backs it up. If you sneeze with your eyes open, they'll fly out and bounce around the room like bouncy balls. Afterman was rated X. Yeah, it was bad. Your heart stops when you sneeze. I've heard that. I had a coworker. His name is Ellis. If you know him, you know he's a great guy. And he had a little sign in his cubicle at work where he said, "I only say bless you twice, because if you sneeze 3 times, I just know the first 2 didn't take, and you must be a demon and must be destroyed," or something like that. So apparently, you only get bless you 2 times. Sounds like a tuberculosis wing. Have you not seen the video? Girl did a sneezing with her eyes open. Must be AI. Must be AI. Your heart does not stop when you sneeze. That's false. Well, we've got conflicting stories, but now we need some medical evidence to tell us one way or another. Maybe I could dig up my old Apple Watch, get it back from my kid, and have it run like a EKG on me, just like a little 2-lead EKG while I'm sneezing. Can you sneeze with your eyes open? No. I've sneezed 11 times. I think that can be fatal. Ladybug's mom says, "I'm here, but bouncing out to do adulting, and I really miss being independent." Can we go back to that, please? I can't rewrite the word yawn, because apparently when you do, it makes you yawn. Gifted a membership as well. Ladybug's mom, thank you very much. Have fun on the adulting side of things. Okay, we'll stop, Red Pen, just for you. We'll stop. We're not going to go there, so for sure. There's like one sickie who's just like coughing up a storm over there. A great sneeze wind-up is something to behold. Do not spoil the Afro-Man verdict. Please, please, please. Red Pen's liable to time you out for a week if you do. Hey, question for you. For all my my tree people out there. I have a tree that I'm pretty sure is oh, we're back. Is dogwood. Does it bloom twice? once before it puts out leaves, and once before with the flowers. Is that true? Dogwood blooms twice. Yeah.
All right, thank you for your patience. I have a few more questions, not many, all right?
Yep.
All right, so we're back at the setting of that interview that took place, right?
Yep.
And it was at Mr. Eaton's house.
Yep.
And the police officers set up an interview place where they took people one at a time into a room to interview them, right?
Yep.
And these are family members and friends, right?
Yep.
And they were all outside of that interview room in Mr. Eaton's home together, right?
Yep.
And all arrived. Did you arrive at the same time or at different times?
Different times.
How did you get there?
I drove myself.
Drove yourself, okay. And do you remember how Mr. Leroy Fowler got there?
He lived in the other side of the house.
Oh, so he was there, so he just came around to the
He
other
was
side.
there when I got there.
Okay. And how long were you there before the police arrived?
They were already there when I got there.
Okay. And how long were you there in total?
I don't know, maybe an hour. Probably.
Okay. And so do you remember telling the police that you were concerned that Judy Church was poisoning Leroy Fowler by putting antifreeze into his milkshake or coffee shake?
Yeah.
Okay. And you told them that because that was your concern, right?
Yes.
And that was all derivative of those LOL joke conversations, right?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Judy's joke about poisoning Leroy wasn't so funny when you learned that he'd actually been poisoned, was it?
No.
Nothing further.
Mr. Scully, anything follow up on that?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carbone.
Thank you.
All right.
Jeff, this Strasman start pulling her weight and take the next witness.
Very good, Strasman.
Thank you. Come on,
Start pulling her weight. She can start pulling her weight and take the next witness. This is how you refer to members of your team. Start pulling your weight.
Is it okay if I move this a little bit when she comes in?
Yes.
Thank you.
As long as you're talking to the microphone, you're okay, ma'am. Yeah, the downside about joking about poisoning somebody is when they die from poisoning, you are the prime suspect.
Just do me a favor, stand on this blue line.
I think I might put Afro Man in the banned word list.
Shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes. Thank you, may be seated.
Just watch step out of the ground.
Phoenix Feather, thanks for jumping right back in. You're green again.
Yes, you may.
Good afternoon. Could you introduce yourself to the members of the jury, telling them your name and then also spelling it for the record?
My name's Megan Waterhouse, MEGANWaterhouse.
Prior to being Megan Waterhouse, what was your maiden name?
Berry.
What is your occupation, Ms. Berry?
I'm a registered nurse.
I should say Ms. Waterhouse, I apologize. Where are you a registered nurse?
Anna Jake's Hospital.
How long have you worked for Anna Jake's Hospital as a registered nurse?
About 10 years.
Before going into your duties and responsibilities there, could you please describe to the jury your educational background to become a registered nurse?
I got my bachelor's degree at University of Massachusetts Lowell.
And when was that?
I graduated in 2011.
What is your current assignment at Anna Jake's as a registered nurse?
I work 3 12-hour shifts, 7A to 7P.
Is there a specific part of the hospital that you're assigned?
The emergency department.
And have you been there the entire time?
About 6 years.
What are your duties and responsibilities as a registered nurse within the emergency department at Anna Jake's?
I triage, I assess, and I monitor patients.
Very quickly, what does it mean to triage?
When they come in, we do vital signs, we do an assessment, we get a story from the patient or loved ones or EMS. We do blood work, we do tests, imaging.
If someone comes in via ambulance, is there a specific procedure that's followed that's possibly different than if someone were to walk into the emergency room?
Typically, we get a call ahead from EMS. Based on that story, we pick an appropriate room in the hospital or in the emergency department. And then once they arrive, we meet EMS in that room and we get report from them.
I'd like to specifically turn your attention to November 11th of 2022. Were you working as an emergency room nurse at Anna Jake Hospital on that day?
Yes.
Were you working that 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift that you just described?
Yes.
At some point, did you get a call from, or did you become aware that a patient was being brought to Anna Jake's Hospital by the name of Leroy Fowler?
Yes.
Your Honor, with this court's permission, if the medical records from Anna Jake could be marked as the next exhibit subject to any redactions that are necessary?
They may.
Thank you.
Jurors, you've heard a couple of references to exhibits being admitted subject to redactions. Redactions means we black out some information, excise it in some fashion.
Class number 6.
Ultimately, if there are these redactions on any number of exhibits that are before you, don't try to speculate about what material has been excised from these records. The reason things are redacted is because they have no relevance for your purposes. And so I make judgments of things that ought to be redacted. Sometimes things are redacted just by agreement because all the attorneys agree that something's not relevant. So if you see something blacked out, just ignore it.
Is it fair? Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Is it fair to say that Mr. Fowler was brought into Anna Jake's just before 9 a.m. that morning?
Yes.
And what was your responsibility as it related to Mr. Fowler when he was brought into Anna Jake's?
We brought him into a room. We get the story from EMS. We get vital signs. We get blood work, and we begin our triage process.
And when you say vital signs, can you describe to the jurors specifically what you did?
Temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen.
And at some point, did you have an occasion to put an IV in?
Yes.
And why was that?
Typically, when anyone comes in an altered state, we put an IV in and we get what we call a rainbow blood work, which is 4 tubes of blood work, where we can order a variety of lab tests off of those.
And when you say an altered state, what do you mean?
Confused.
And was Mr. Fowler, did he come in, was he altered or confused?
Yeah, he was unable to follow any direction.
And were you able to have any type of communication with him as to his, what brought him there?
No.
And for those reasons, did you do what you just described in terms of the IV and the rainbow blood draw?
Yes.
And was that done almost immediately upon your interaction with him because of the uncertainty of his condition?
Yeah, everything happens pretty much at once.
Could you kind of take us through exactly what you do for a patient and specifically what you did for Mr. Fowler as it related to that rainbow blood draw?
Basic blood work. When we don't know what's causing this altered, we'll do blood work, drug screens, imaging, all that kind of stuff.
Why is it called rainbow blood work?
It's just 4 colors. And
like 4 different colored tubes?
Yes.
Okay, and let's talk about those tubes real quick. Is there some way to identify the blood that you take from a patient, specifically Mr. Fowler, as it relates to each of those 4 different colored tubes?
Yeah, immediately after we take the blood, we label it with a sticker, and we make sure it has 2 patient identifiers that match: name, date of birth, medical record number.
So fair to say that any blood that was drawn from Mr. Fowler would have been confirmed that the blood that you were subsequently going to submit for testing belonged to Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
And in this case, where did the blood go once you drew it?
To the lab.
And was that done at approximately 9 or 4 a.m.?
Yes.
And were you the first person that took blood from Mr. Fowler upon his entrance into Anna Jake's Hospital?
Yes.
When it goes to the lab, are you aware of whether or not that blood is retained after the testing is done?
They do keep it for a while. I'm not sure how long.
You had described Mr. Fowler's condition as being altered when he came in. Could you describe to the jury what other observations you made of Mr. Fowler while he was under your care during that time?
He couldn't follow direction. He was trying to climb out of the bed. He couldn't tell us any information about what was going on with him. He was really hard to calm down.
Were you able to speak to him in any coherent way?
No.
When you say he was not able to follow directions, were there things that you were specifically asking him to do that he was unable to do?
One specific thing was to give a urine sample, and he wasn't even able to follow that direction.
As a result of him being unable to follow your instructions as it related to the urine sample, what, if anything, did you have to do?
Put a catheter to get the urine.
And was that done as it related to Mr. Fowler's treatment around 9 a.m. on November 11th?
Yes.
Did you make observations while you were caring for Mr. Fowler as to whether or not there was anyone there with him, or at some point there with him?
There was a woman with him.
Do you remember how she identified herself in relation to Mr. Fowler?
I don't remember exactly.
How long would you say that you, I guess, were in charge as the nurse for Mr. Fowler during that morning?
It's about 11 a.m.
And is it fair to say at some point after 11 a.m. his care was turned over to another nurse?
Yes.
Regarding the blood draw and any testing or imaging, are you responsible for interpreting the results?
No.
Who would be responsible for interpreting the results?
The provider assigned to him.
So fair to say that you didn't have an occasion to review those results or make any determinations in terms of care that he may or may not have needed?
No.
Essentially, you interacted with him, you triaged him, you got the blood work to the lab as quickly as possible, and then at some point around 11 a.m., his care was turned over to another nurse?
Yes.
If I may have one moment.
Yes, you may.
During that course of those 2 hours that you were responsible for Mr. Fowler, did his condition change in any way, or did it remain the same throughout your interaction with him?
He never was oriented to himself. He never could follow any direction. Nothing changed. He seemed to be getting more confused.
And at no point were you able to have any conversation with him as to what had caused his condition that brought him there?
No.
You're not no further questions.
We're flying through the witnesses.
Good afternoon. Would it be fair to say that these were events back again in 2022, and now we're into 2026, and your memory would have been better in any report you gave in and about that date back in 2022 than they would be today of those events?
Yes.
And you did at some point in time go in and speak to police officers, right?
Correct.
And you did that. Did you have an opportunity to look at that, a transcript of that statement prior to coming in here today?
I did.
And did you feel that that was truthful and accurate?
Yes.
And you attempted to be truthful and accurate to the officers. You had no reason not to be on that day, right?
Correct.
And you indicated that when he came in, you did a series of tests with him, including the blood work, the IV. You had used I didn't use a particular term for the blood work itself. And you didn't have to sedate him to do any of that, right?
Not that I remember.
And you did not indicate either in your prior statement or here today that you had to, on occasion, there are restraints on some of the beds, right?
Not on the beds, no.
Well, if you wanted to restrain a person, you could?
Yes.
Okay, and that wasn't done with him, right?
No.
And back in February of 2022, you had described him as alert, but definitely confused and restless, right?
I'm assuming, Mr. Nurse.
You said February, but I think you meant November.
Oh, I think you meant 2023.
February.
What was the date you said?
I'm sorry, the confusion of dates of the on the statement you gave of February 6, 2023, about November 11th of 2022, when Mr. Fowler came in, you had described him as, and he was alert, but definitely confused and restless.
Yes.
And alert would mean and I know you had said he was, and you also indicated he was talking, correct?
Nothing that made any sense.
But he was talking.
Yes.
So it was words that were being formed, but you believe there was a confused message that was coming to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, and when he came in initially, the assessment done by you based upon other people in somewhat similar conditions that had come into you, you thought it was a drug overdose, right?
That's the one reason someone could come in altered, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's one reason someone could come in altered.
And it meant that you told the police that's what you thought it was, and it's but the hospital, the staff, wouldn't have been you alone, right?
Yes.
Now, did you actually do the blood draw?
Yes.
And you said there were 4 different types of tubes connected to it?
Typically, we do a full rainbow.
So you have, whatever the little capsules are, you're going to be drawing 4 of those at one
But
time?
yeah, we can place IVs and draw blood work right off the IV.
And do you determine, after you've drawn the blood, what you're going to test for?
As a nurse, I have standing orders based on complaints, which I can draw certain labs, and then the providers can add more labs afterwards.
So it's one of the things you wanted to test for was drugs?
That's not per my policy, so the provider would add that on to the lab work.
That would be whoever sends it out. So
No.
when it comes, if you're the nurse that's attending, you don't actually ask for a particular type of test, even though you're attending to the patient.
I could tell the provider that I could ask for it, but they order the test, yes.
Do you know what the slip said when the blood work went into the lab, what it was that was requested?
I don't remember.
The lady that came in, did she identify herself as the girlfriend?
I don't remember how she identified herself.
Okay. And if I showed you a copy of your statement from February 6th of 2023 and had you look at that and see if that might refresh your memory as to what you thought that lady was?
Yes.
Could I approach the witness?
Yes, you may.
All right, refresh the recollection. Need fewer coughs tomorrow, although they are keeping me awake.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I believe she was the girlfriend.
Do you also have any memory that she was attentive to him physically, holding his hands?
Yes.
And did she stay with him for an extended period of time at the hospital?
Yes.
I may have a moment, Judge.
Yes.
The witness doesn't seem to be too involved in the defense strategy, just sort of observing. It's quite the change
You
from
also do
Karen
an
Reed trial.
alcohol test on him. If you wanted to do, in terms of the blood work, would you
believe
do an
so.
alcohol level test through the blood work?
Yes.
Thank you. Judge, I have no further questions.
Ms. Strathman?
Just very briefly, is it fair to say that there are a variety of reasons why someone might come to the emergency room in an altered condition?
Yes.
And is that why you need to triage them and do the blood work to determine what it is that brought them there?
Yes.
And at the time, you had no idea what happened to Mr. Fowler that caused him to be altered, correct?
Correct.
No further questions.
Mr. Norkunis, any follow-up to that?
I don't have anything additional.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You may step down.
That was witness number 6. It was cough number 127.
Leroy Fowler the third.
Is this person also referred to as Leroy Fowler Jr.?
He has been by defense counsel on a couple of
I think we all need to try to be precise when we're referring to this particular witness, and maybe some common nomenclature. How about the third?
I can take care of that, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Do me a favor and stand, let's move on.
Sir, if you face me and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the cause now in hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. You may be seated.
Just want you to step forward.
Turn my fan on.
Good afternoon, sir. A nice loud voice. Could you introduce yourself to the jurors and spell your last name?
How you doing? My name is Leroy Francis Fowler III. My last name is Fowler.
And just before we get into anything else, sir, you introduced yourself as the third. Who was the second?
My father.
Okay, so he was generally known to your family as either Leroy Jr. or Big Leroy, is that right?
Yeah,
Deuce.
Big Leroy.
Sorry, yeah?
Yeah, sorry.
And your grandfather was sort
Big,
of Leroy
big
Sr.?
Leroy.
Yes.
Was Leroy Sr. ever around in your lifetime? Or?
Yes,
He
sir.
was? Okay. And so now, are you still, you know, are you little Leroy? Are you Leroy Jr.? Or are you Leroy third? What do you go by now with the family usually?
Little Leroy still sticks, so that's what I carry.
Yeah, that's a tough line.
It's a tough line.
So just for purposes of when we're talking about, we won't obviously be talking about your grandfather today, but for purposes of talking about you and your dad, if there's any confusion about it, you know, probably not with you so much, but just refer to him as, you know, your dad or something. That'll alleviate any confusion with the names, all right?
Yes.
All right, great. So where do you live?
I live in Seabrook.
All right, so Seabrook, New Hampshire.
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived in Seabrook?
Maybe 6 years?
Okay, you own a house up there?
Yes.
Okay. Are you married?
Yes.
Any kids?
Yes, sir.
How many kids?
3.
All right, what are their names?
Mia, Dexter, and Leo.
Okay. What do you do for work, sir?
I'm a glorified maintenance man.
Okay. And where do you do that?
I do it for New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Like the state or?
Yeah, both states.
Okay. What other kinds of work have you done over the years?
I learned a lot of construction with my father.
So how was your relationship with your father?
Fairly good.
Better at some times, worse at others?
Yeah, just like adults and parents.
Fair enough. Now, did you grow up with your dad? Was he around when you were growing up?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so you lived with him as a kid as you were growing up?
On and off.
Okay. And who else lived with you as a kid when you were growing up?
My brother Michael at times.
Okay, and that's Michael Hawkins?
Yes, my stepbrother.
So your stepbrother?
Yep.
And did you live with his mother as well, Judy?
Yes.
Now, I want to draw your attention more to more recent times involving you and your father and a woman named Judy Church. Do you know Judy Church?
Yes.
Okay. You see her sitting here in the courtroom?
Yes.
Could you point her out, describe something to her?
She's right over there with glasses.
Okay. Just ask the record identification, Your Honor.
Good man.
Thank you. Now, how did you meet Judy?
Met her at the bar.
Okay. And was your father involved with her at the time you met her?
No.
No. So you met her before your dad started seeing her?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember how long ago that was?
Before you initially seen her, or how long from today?
Yeah, well, what year it was? Whatever's easiest for you.
Jeez. Maybe 2012?
Okay.
Somewhere around there?
Okay. And how long after you first met her at that time was it that your father started seeing her?
Maybe 2 years?
And was your dad still together with Julie when he started seeing?
Yes.
With Julie when he
Julie.
started seeing Judy.
Yes.
And do you remember how long that overlap lasted for?
Maybe a few years, 1 or 2.
So it was kind of a common thing for your dad to have more than one
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yes.
And after he started seeing Judy, and that relationship kept going on, how often would you see your dad and see Judy when they were dating initially?
Fairly often.
Okay. And at some point, did you live, in fact, with both your dad and Judy? You live in the same house?
Yes.
Okay. And where was that you were living with when you were in the same house as you?
Was it 108 Central Ave?
Okay. And 108 Central Ave it's a house, but it's broken up into a couple of different units. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So were you in a different unit from them, or were you in the same unit?
The beginning, yes. I was in a different unit.
Beginning, you were in a different unit?
Yeah, I was upstairs.
Okay. And they were living downstairs?
Yes.
All right. And at some point, did you actually live in the same unit as them?
Yes.
So you were spending at that. What was the time frame for that?
Maybe a year.
And do you remember about what year it was that you were there? How long ago?
No, not really, unfortunately.
And at the time that you were living either in the same house or in the same apartment as your dad and Judy, was he seeing anybody else romantically?
Sorry, what was it? Can you repeat that?
Yep. At the time that year that you spent living in the same house or the same apartment as Judy and your dad dating anybody else?
Yes.
Who was that?
Barbara.
Barbara Randall?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have occasion to talk to Judy about her feelings about Barb?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did she? What did Judy say about Barbara?
Overruled.
What did she?
Yeah. What kind of things did she say about Barbara and the fact that your dad was dating her?
She wasn't happy.
Okay. Did she have a nickname for Barbara?
Yes.
What was it?
Judge, could I have a continuing objection to this whole line of questions, please?
You may.
Excuse me, the cunt.
Okay. And was that is that a term that she used regularly?
Yes.
Did she keep anything around the house that sort of I'm not sure how to phrase it. Did she keep anything around the house to sort of represent Barbara?
Yes.
What did she keep around the house?
A voodoo doll.
What?
And, what did she do with the voodoo doll?
Various things like stick pins in it and, throw it around and stuff.
Whoa. Bingo's a shaky ground. Voodoo doll for the bingo. Like acupuncture.
You do? I do. Okay.
You want to show it to the witness first or come inside?
Why don't you show it to the witness and why don't you show it to me? You can hand it up to me.
We've got a picture of the voodoo doll. I guess they really didn't like each other. And Barbara, all she did was call her grandma. Oh my goodness, so stinking loud. Let's turn it way down. Apparently we might get to see the voodoo doll. Pin sticks and all. The spice level just quadrupled. I thought we were past the C word. I thought it was behind us. We were going to be all good going forward, but it's back. It's back from this morning. I think we're far enough into the trial. I think we're an hour and 35. We should be okay. Like on the YouTube front, we should be okay. Wow. Those Bunny Hop says, I can make one. Red, You know we're going to have to update the profile picture and do a voodoo doll. I mean, is that like bad karma to put a picture of a voodoo doll on the profile picture? We've got to... She was a grade school teacher. She taught your third graders, Massachusetts. She taught, or fourth graders, I forget. Voodoo doll and the C word regularly. Work up busy. A voodoo doll? Yep. I'm trying to pay attention, says Trellfan. This one's taken off. Why are some of the names in the comments blue? Thanks in advance. Kim, those are some of our moderators. We have more than are here. Mostly it's Red Pen. She's holding down the fort today. A couple others are here. Greeners, thank you. I see you. We could rename the cough counter the C word counter, but Greeners is here. Red Pen's here. I think Josh is here. I think Samantha's away for a reason. I know the reason, but I'm not sure if I was going to share it. She didn't give me permission. Yeah, we've got a few mods that are stepping away. I have one in mod chat. I'm there. I'm sort of in mod chat. Oh, you have a voodoo doll in mod chat. This one is red. There are many like it, but this one is mine. No. It even comes, it's a full-on pincushion. Oh, it has things on it. It says things. Hang on. Lose hair. Love. Hypertension. Oh, these are all the things you can... you can stab somebody right in the IRS audit. Bam! Got him. This is amazing. I didn't know you had... I thought it was just a doll and you sort of just went for the eyes. But no, you can curse them with zits, IRS audits, lose job. That's right where that's right where my arm is hurting right now. Does somebody have one of these? Have they stabbed me right in the lose job arm? More C words and we might be there. You want that on the thumbnail, or do you want a real? No, I want this one. I don't want a real one. I want this one. I don't want a real one. This is just a pincushion doll that's funny. Yeah, we don't want to do like a real witchcraft stuff. I'm not into that. Well, the representation that's just like a funny sewing pincushion doll is better. The stream is getting educational. We're going all sorts of places. Oh, here we go. We're back. Oh, nope, not yet. Hey, Red, if you could... Is that your personal sewing doll? Sewing pincushion? It's just... It's funny. Ari does not claim that energy. Yeah, we don't want that on the... Could be bad. I have a Cabbage Patch doll. We need just a representation of a doll. We don't want an actual like voodoo doll with somebody's hair or skin attached to it or something. That'd be yucky. Step on a Lego. Oh, that's a good one. Somebody's got me with that. Probably somebody I cut off in traffic. No witchcraft puts away cauldron. Sorry, I heard you wrong. I was just adding the Eye of Newt. Recovery Addict, can you cover the YouTube glitching going on and the mods are likely not removing comments for those having chat issues? Yes, their mods are too a little spread thin right now to be removing comments as much as people are seeing problems on YouTube. Unless your comment has Afro Man in it, I'm removing all those. I put it in the banned word list. So, only because Red Pen wants to watch this weekend. She's been so good, being here with us, moderating on this channel when she wants to be watching other trials. This is a sacrifice the mods are making. Red Pen is taking one for the team here, so please don't spoil it for her. Let her watch it this weekend and enjoy that on her own time there. Let's imagine Recovery Addict's Freddie Dulce's truck hits fiber pole.
Yes, your man.
Here we
So I was
go.
going to hand you a photograph to ask you to recognize
Yeah.
it. And I'll let you recognize that.
The voodoo doll.
After this, the next exhibit.
Subject to our discussion at Sidebar, with all rights preserved, it will be admitted as our next exhibit.
All right. Here we go. Let's pan over and take a look at what... Oh, man, the coughs are continuing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she made one. There it is.
All right, and that's putting it up there on the screen and at the bottom. You can see where it says Barb, is that right?
Barb on it.
Yes.
What? Oh my goodness! Please pan over to the defendant really quickly. I need to see her reaction. Oh no, we passed her.
Now, how often in the last year of your dad's life or so, 2022 we'll stick with, how often would you see him?
Towards the end of 2022,
Yeah.
he was doing some side jobs for me, so usually once a week.
Okay. So what kind of side job was he doing for you?
Working on a house.
The house that you owned or a house?
No, sir. It was my stepdaughter father's house.
Okay. And your dad had been in construction for a long time, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so were you doing the work and you hired your dad? I know it's a little bit less formal than that, but you hired your dad as sort of someone to help you out doing that work?
Is it a lip ring or a toothpick?
It wasn't me per se, but if I found like odd jobs for him to do, like I would recommend him. Yeah.
Okay.
Might be a fish hook from the weekend. I think he just.
Now at that
caught
time, in the last week of his life, that second week of November, had you seen him at all during that time period?
Yes.
Okay. And when was the last time that you actually saw him?
Maybe a couple days before.
And was he having any problems? Was he dizzy? Was he falling down? Was he having any problems like that when you saw him on that?
No.
Okay. And do you remember where it was that you saw him?
If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it was my house.
Okay. And did he come by as part of the work that he was doing on your father-in-law's house, or?
Yes.
Now, in the day before he died, did you have a phone conversation with him that afternoon, about 1:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, November 10th?
Sounds familiar. Yes.
Okay. And did he ask you to do something for him?
Yes.
And what was it? What was it that he asked you to do?
He wanted me to drop off money. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Pick up some money that somebody owed him?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember where you were gonna get that money?
From the owner that he did the house with.
We haven't heard any testimony about anything that this church said, so you may accept, if you wish, the testimony that he bought things. It's for you. That he bought things. It's for you to determine why.
After she would buy him things, would he stay at the house longer? Would he stay with her longer?
Not always.
Well, the answer is no. Was the answer no?
Yes, sir.
That may stand.
we just skipped a tiny bit. You want to go back and get it, or are you good?
To the best of your knowledge, did your dad have COVID ever?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know how many times he had COVID?
Objection, Judge. Sustained. Unless you can lay a foundation that it's not based on simply what his father told him.
Did he make complaints about his health in relation to having COVID?
That's basically the same hearsay.
Did he make complaints about his health specifically regarding his sense of taste?
Yes.
And how many times did he make that complaint to you about his sense of taste?
A few times.
Okay, and what
was
was the complaint that he made in that respect?
Objection.
I'll allow
it. My father was like sweets, He was liked cake and ice creams, and he couldn't taste them.
I don't think he's beyond the scope of the question.
The question was what was the complaint? And then he said something about sweets.
And that he couldn't taste them.
Was that something he said to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, that makes sense.
All right. So now
You all right, sir?
Yeah.
I need a tissue.
No.
the veteran
All right.
agent might not have been detected by him. Glances over at the defendant and then looks away.
All right. Sir, I want to sort of change tacks a little bit. When did you first hear that your dad was in the hospital in relation to this particular case?
Like when is in the time or
Yes.
the day?
Yeah, the day and time.
It was at nighttime, I want to say, but on his birthday, later on the night.
Okay, so November 11th, later on at night.
Yes.
Okay. And who was it that you heard from for the first time that your dad was in the hospital?
Judy.
After a conversation with Judy via text, did you make attempts to get some further information from other people?
Yes.
Who did you call?
The hospital.
Okay. Do you remember which hospital it was that you called?
It was Mount Auburn.
Mount Auburn in Cambridge?
Yes.
Okay. And you were able to speak to a doctor there, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And based on what the doctors told you, who else did you call after speaking to the doctors?
My auntie.
Okay. Anybody else?
I called the police.
And did you make arrangements with the hospital at that point in time to make sure that you were the healthcare proxy for your dad?
Objection leading.
What's the objection, Mr. O'Connor?
I did judge it's a hearsay conversation
Hearsay.
with the doctor itself.
Well, if he's making a request or simply an arrangement to become hearsay.
It's all from him, so it's fair.
The healthcare proxy, there's no content of the conversation coming in. It's all overruled and I'll allow him to answer the question and see where that takes us.
It's a yes or no answer, right?
Yes, it is.
LAB, have a good one. We'll see you. Another cough there, sorry. 141.
Now, the next day, November 12th, did you get a chance to see your dad that day?
No.
When was it that you got a chance to see your dad?
When he was on the ventilator.
And that was the next day on November 13th?
Yes.
And Was that still at Mount Auburn, or had he been moved to Beth Israel by that point?
To Beth Israel.
Did he ever wake up, or was he ever able to communicate with you at all that last day at Beth Israel?
No.
He was on the ventilator the entire time?
Yes.
And was it you and some other family members that had to make a decision about keeping him?
Overruled. This is a decision about the ventilator?
Yeah.
You're asking about?
Yeah.
Overruled.
Did you and the other family members have to make a decision about keeping him on the ventilator?
I did, yes.
And what did you decide?
Pull the plug.
You took him off the ventilator, is that right?
Yeah.
And he died shortly thereafter, is that right?
Yes.
I don't have anything for you.
Mr. Narkunis, I presume, unless you think you'll finish in 7 minutes, maybe we should just break it. Okay, so I think it probably makes sense to break that. Mr. Fowler, you may step down if you would. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll meet you back here.
All right, so the witness is done for the day. We're done for the day as well.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not tomorrow. We're not sitting tomorrow. That would be Friday. Thank you for reminding me.
No court tomorrow.
Reminds the jurors. I'm not sitting here tomorrow.
We're not sitting here
I
tomorrow.
want to thank you very much for your time and your attention and your service here today. It's been a good, long, productive trial day for all of us. I'm going to excuse you until Friday morning, 9 a.m. Until we see each other again, please do not discuss the substance of this case with anyone, including among yourselves. And please don't allow yourselves to see, read, hear, or overhear anything from any outside source about any aspect of this case. Once again, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you Friday morning. All right.
Now everyone's just letting the coughs out. They've been holding them in till now, but let's just make sure there's nothing for the judge to talk with the lawyers about. I don't know if she's in custody. Can somebody find out for me if Judy's in custody right now or out on bail? We'll have to find something to do tomorrow.
See counsel at Sidebar very briefly.
The judge calls counsel to Sidebar. Don't think he's very happy about something, but we're watching a trial that we didn't think was going to go where it went with we know. I mean, all murder trials have some interesting facts to them, but this one, the defendant is accused of poisoning her live-in boyfriend, possibly because of his continued relationship with his other girlfriend, and doing it with Antifreeze, which is a terrible way to go. It took a couple days to pass away. Ended up on a ventilator. The family had to make the decision eventually to pull the plug, which is the last bit of testimony the juries got to hear before they went home today. Let's see. Who sent me this one? Laurie. Laurie, I think you might be a little bit. I don't think you have the whole story. Can we play catch up on the Cody Lee trial tomorrow on 1.5 speed? Probably not. Has Corey started ghostwriting her next bestseller yet? No. Let's try the Georgia case tomorrow. It's not that simple. It's not that simple, Heather. I wish it was. Have we ever watched a trial that goes where we think? Occasionally. We've had a couple that are just straightforward, like Clean as day. Corey's next book, Are You Waiting for Me on the Outside? Yeah. Did the judge really mean to say I'm not going to sit here tomorrow? Yes, they're not going to be sitting here tomorrow. They have something else going on Thursday, so the jurors get a day off. Yes, the juror talked to the court in the Corey Richards trial, talked to the media. The juror foreman talked to the media. Said that basically they all, as soon as they sat in there, they all just wanted to let loose, and they each went around the table and said what they thought, and they were all guilty from the get-go on deliberation. Sadly, the way she worded it is she said something about there was never a not guilty moment. I think she's talking about in deliberation. I hope she's talking about in deliberation, because that could be an issue. But let's see. Coughing may be over when they come back on Friday. Give them a day or two to get over it. Hopefully that was great. Yes, that was the jury foreman who talked to, like, Good Morning America. I think that's where I saw it on. Let's see. And the news about the book all sent them over the edge. They were shocked when they found out about the book. That was like the last straw for some people. She did say that each person had like a different thing that was like the deal breaker. Like, and many of them were just hoping to not get to the point where she was guilty. They were hoping that she was not guilty. But the evidence all led them to guilty. What if we lost a sense of taste from poisoning or something like COVID? Some people never get it back after that. Yeah. A deal breaker is a deal breaker. Anything about Bryce's pants? Nothing in the interview about Bryce's pants. Cauliflower says, I didn't even think the book was all that bad, all things considered. I think the ghostwriter did a great job. What a great book for a niche in the market that's not well covered. Good Morning America had her on. She went big. Might have even been paid for the interview. That would be interesting if we find that out. Corey's next book, If I Did It Too, ghostwriter credits O.J. Simpson. Hey, Wall. Oh, man. Coughs are continuing. That was number 145. Give me a second to find my mouse. Oops. There we go. They're done for the day. 4 o'clock is when they're done. Because they don't take many breaks, if you notice. We got the one break in the morning, the break for lunch. And both of them were short, and they just power through. So they're done at 4. It's a hard trial to watch and listen to. We've had much harder. It does have a little bit of a hiss to it that I can work on to get out. It would take some of the vocals out as well. Oh, Wolf. Wow. Corey needed a ghostwriter because she doesn't know what grief is. Oof, that's brutal. The book is read on YouTube. Yes, you have to be careful about that because Corey could, if she holds the copyright to it, which, she could strike that channel. Books are copyrighted unless they've been out for 100 years. You can't read them online unless you have specific permission from the publisher or the copyright holder. If the judge came out of retirement, let me tell you, it's hard to sit any place that long once you're retired. This judge out of retirement? I know he's probably close to it. Here we go. Looks like he's done. Let's see if he's done for the day.
So we will be in recess on this trial tomorrow morning.
Right.
Oh, Friday. Thank you. I will not be showing up here tomorrow, even though I keep forgetting that. All right. Friday.
Court, all rise.
All rise. There we go. And we're going to go before there are any more coughs. So Friday morning at 9 a.m., we're going to be back in that one. Yes, this judge came back to hear this case. That's why he's reminiscing about the law with the jury. Let's see. You must have something big tomorrow, probably something on the docket, maybe something in this courtroom. Possibly a little court hopping tomorrow. I think Judge Boyd had a trial that began. I'm not sure if it's still going. And then we'll see. We'll see if we get back to our other trial, the Texas one. We might do that as well. He retired. He probably has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. At least it gives me time to catch up on the shot through the door trial. Great audio. Imagine if I already touched it up. Are you talking about the one that's crooked and you're watching from the ceiling? AWOL? For those of us who have a little bit of OCD when it comes to camera orientation. Maybe Megan, maybe not, says, I have barely owned the internet for long. Is that English? Oh, I don't know. Yes, you barely had it. But you did great. Did great. The dentist trial shot through the door. Yeah, no camera change. Yes, you're watching like a bird's eye view. Yeah, there are many cases. I chose this one for a couple of reasons, but the cameras in the rafters, can barely see people's lips moving. It's like little ants moving around on the courthouse floor far below. All right, that's going to do it for us today. It's a little bit early break, so you guys get some time off, which is well deserved, especially for the mods. Thank you very much, mods. On catch up, the sister seemed like an honest witness. I think her bias was pretty clear, but she wasn't being unfair to the defendant. I think she was a great witness. All right, tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone to make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again tomorrow morning. We're going to do some court hopping. I have to tell you, I think we've got to, we might have to take a pass on the podcast. Thomas has a family thing that comes up, and family comes first. And I think that's where we are. So pass on the podcast for tomorrow, unless you hear otherwise. But other than that, we'll be back. We'll get some court. We'll have some fun. We'll do some court watching. We might catch up on the one we missed out of Texas if we can do it fast and things like that. We'll see. All right. How's the roof coming along? It was done. 2 days and it's done. Done, cleaned up. They even cleaned up all the leaves and everything else around the house. They're coming back to do some bids on repairing some eave and fascia repairs, and some deck repairs, and some concrete repairs. They should be back tomorrow for that. So we'll see. A modcast? Maybe. Probably not going to switch trials in the middle of this one unless we can just catch up and finish the one we watched out of Texas. So most likely not going to switch. Don't sweaty dolls, people. Be good. Be nice to each other. All right. You guys have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.